Hi there, in this energy work video I will focus on cleansing out the, we could call it the father-mother energy imprints, energies and genetics. And why do we need to do that? And I'm just thinking about how to do this. We need to do that because when we are in our process of becoming individual energetic beings, it's important that we don't have the energetic connection to our parents. And this does not mean that you have to separate from your physical parents. It just means that you go in and work with the energetic connection you have to your parents. And that goes back to when you were created. And that means when your mom and dad had their little fun and in that kind of merged their energies, and from that created that field that enabled the egg and the sperm to begin to grow in the uterus of your mom. So that is the first step of actually clearing out the energetic imprints. And some of you are lucky enough to remember that. I remember when my mom and dad had fun, and that was a very interesting experience viewing that from above. Which again opens up to a whole bunch of questions. Well, I will not go into, as in why was I observing it. And yes, I did pick my parents, and no, it has nothing to do with soul families, and no, it has definitely nothing to do with the whole kind of typical you choose your parents because you have to learn these lessons and all these kind of things. I chose my parents because of their energies and their genetic lineages, and that probability and possibilities that would give in this physical body to do what I needed to do here. And no, I did not go in as a host soul into a body that was created in my mom. No, actually I was part of the engineering of this vessel, which I then put into my mom while they were having sex. So this is a whole other way of approaching how to do this. And I would say that if we are playing with the idea that there are someone messing around with our genetic combinations in the uterus of our mom, then the military or whatever factions are doing this, the ones that are controlling reality, whether these are the greys or the controllers or the elite or the enslavers or whatever we want to call them, because it all depends on what timeline you're playing on, as well as what type of template you have got, what programs you're part of, and what your purpose is in this life, and if you come in from outside or if you already existed here, and all of these differences that makes the whole kind of plethora of different levels of understanding of why you chose your parents. So it's nothing to do with this is a school and you're learning through your parents and these kind of things. It's all about which parents had the best genetic similarity to what you needed to experience or do in this life, or what type of parents had the best type of genetic or malfunction in genetics to ensure that your template would not fully go into activation, as in that making an organic form that will literally prevent the high-level template to go into full activation into the physical body. So these are some of the things that are to taken into consideration. So I'm just saying there's no simple answers here, and everything you have learned out there and have been taught in the spiritual movements and these kind of things are only scratches of the surface of what is actually going on and how these are done and these kind of things. So again, it all depends on your template, what the purpose is of your templates, where you were born, which country you were born in. That defines the agenda that's being played out there. That defines the different types of genetics you will have got, plus the whole kind of the original template, which simulations had been part of, and all of these factors that plays in the whole choosing of parents or having parents chosen for you. So again, this is a matter of kind of saying this is not a simple answer. So to free yourself from either the chosen or the that has been chosen for you energetic setting of your bio DNA, you need to release the energetic imprints of your parents. That's the first step. And the first step is literally to go through your physical heart, because that goes with your kind of whole emotional template. And your physical heart goes with a lot of childhood memories. So to get to the point where you'll be able to work with the emotional original merging of fields of your parents, which are mainly put into your aura or emotional field, it's also part of your mind field, you have to go through the heart to begin with. That's the emotional level, the fun time your mom and dad had, the emotional state they were in while they were creating you, and the whole kind of emotional setup that were at play there. So let me take an example. My parents had great love for each other when I was created. That was a very beautiful experience for me to see. Of course, not so fun seeing your parent having fun, but the emotions, they were very deeply in love with each other, and creating me was a choice. So I was created in love and by a choice, and I chose that moment specifically because of that very, very, very high level type of energy. Plus at that time, my mom was in a specific state of mind, which gave her genetic a specific type of energy, and my father as well. So that was a very, very specifically chosen moment for me to say, this is where I attach my template to the egg and the cell, and in kind of that, or literally looked in and said, this is the moment where we create the connection between the egg and the sperm. And again, you're saying, is this happening, or is it created or controlled? I don't really know. I'm just kind of, this is just what I remember. And I know it was a deliberate choice because I was looking in and from outside the programs and deciding that's the moment, because the energies are right. My mom's energy is right. My dad's energy is right for the type of personality I want to create. Of course, later on that was messed up totally. So even though that we have gone in and done that, is not the same as we have had full control of it, because coming into this, the physical level of the construction of our reality is always a high risk, considering the factions that are controlling it. Okay, so the emotional state of your parents, who they were in their energetic setting while they created you, has played a pivotal role in your personality structure. And to free yourself from these pre-coded, predestined, if you want to put it that way, energies of your aura, you need to go through your heart and cleanse out as much as you can there. And it's literally a level of going through your childhood memories one by one, as far back as you can. And there are different ways you can work with this. One of the methods I have been working with to work with my infant template is literally to submerge myself fully underwater in my bathtub, and in that imagine or envisioning me going back into the uterus of my mom. And then from there work on my literally going back in my mind into me being in the womb of my mom, and cleansing out my aura from that level, and my mind field, both. The aura or the emotional field goes through the heart. The mind field always goes through the throat level, as well as the brain itself. So, but this is the access point. If the thyroid is not working correctly, the mind field is clogged. So that's the field around your head that has got a lot of energy you need to clear out. So you go through the here to get access to your mind field around your head, or you can work with it from above and cleanse it out. Or you can work with another way of working with your mind field and getting access to the memories are on the temporal lobes. There are two ways you can use the temporal lobes for. One is to activate memories, another one is to delete memories. Activate memories are literally a command you give to your energies of your hand, and that means you enhance the energies of your temporal lobes to bring up the memories. If you want to delete memories, you do the opposite. You do the white erasing energy and you put it on your temporal lobes, and you think about the memory you want to erase while you're having your hands there. You literally see that memory, everything in that memory turns into dust while you have that energy on your temporal lobes. And the reason why you need to do that is because you're working with the neurons. You activate the neurons by giving them activation energy or enhancing energy. I would use the word enhancing energy. And if you are to erase, you use the white type of energy, and then you literally see how that erases the energetic imprints in your neurons from that memory, seeing everything turning into dust. You can also put your hands on the visual cortex, which is back here, and the front, and do the same as either enhancing your ability to see, or you can use it with the white energy to erase whatever you do see and you don't want to see again. And this is kind of important when you have worked with holographic memories or just this lifetime memories, that you erase when you're done, so it's not stored in your brain. So it kind of literally leaves the neurons of your brain, and in that cannot be sparked to life by some outer source frequency affecting your brain waves, and then that spark light up in your memory and in your mind field, and from that will enable whoever's out there to connect to you through your perception field, which your brain will turn into eventually when it works correctly. It goes from being a mind field into a perception field. So that's how to work with memories in your brain. And the same with the heart. You go in through your heart and you literally see the different memories, and you erase the energies by going through your heart and erase it, the emotional content, again by demanding this is erasing into my aura. And you can still use some of my old material on how to work with energy imprints and energy patterns that are in your aura. And all of these are your memories. Your memories are stored as energy patterns in your aura, which if they are emotional or if they are a kind of thinking, they are up here as energy patterns. And this defines how your brain is working on a human level as well as your emotional level. So a good way to work with this is to go into the bathtub and submerge yourself in water and literally begin working with the idea of you in your womb of your mom. And in that beginning, reconnecting to yourself from that very, very early level of you. And you go further and further back, cleansing out as much as you can. And in that, you can see if you can reach the level of when you were created. If that is not possible for you, you work through your heart field again and through your throat and your mind field, and you cleanse out as much as you can from this life where you have your parents in over whatever experiences you have had. You need to erase your entire childhood, literally, on many different levels, emotional and mentally, to get rid of your belief systems. Our parents were the first to give belief systems to us. They were the first to induce a specific way of seeing the world. So aside from their energetic setting, which has created the basis of your personality, they were also the ones that enhanced or suppressed this in you, which has made some unbalanced energetic levels in your personality structure. So this is again through the heart, throat, and the brain itself, and the emotions. You go through this and cleanse out what you need to cleanse out. You can use the free material where you work with the images of the psyche, and you can reframe if that works for you. When you have reframed, if you have a sad memory or something, you can reframe it, and when you reframe it, you have balanced the duality powers of the emotional field. And when that is done, you dissolve it and erase it and let it go. Clear out the energies, remove if there are any nets of energy, or if there are any parasites, or if there's any technology. You can have little program cubes in your heart, which literally defines how you're supposed to feel and think about these type of emotions. Program cubes is here as well. Or you can have net stuff, or you can have whatever, a parasite or snake, typically snakes or slugs that are here, and you can have that in your brain as well, or around your mind field, while you're cleansing it out using your healing hands to work with this memory. So the way to clear out your aura and your mind field is always to work them. Aura goes through memories where you work with the emotional content. Reframe it, balance it out, and erase it. Or you just go in and erase it right away and remove what are residuals in your heart, pulling out what is from the aura, literally from the heart. And sometimes the heart goes into a kind of field with a lot of energy cords, which I've talked about before. And these you kind of separate from the borders of your aura and pull them into your heart, and then you literally pull them out when you're done with the memory, and in that remove the energy strands of that type of energy setting. So that one you clear out that way, and you just continue pulling it out. And remember, this can take quite a long time because these energy cords can be quite long. So that's one way to do it. That is your part of it. When you have cleansed it, you can also begin with, and you know that's an old exercise, you look at your parent in your meditation, you envision your dad or you envision your mom, and then you literally separate yourself energetically from your mom or your dad. See how the energy cords between you literally just evaporates and turn into dust, and see yourself as freed from each other. And you literally ask to say that their template and your template will hereby be separated, and you will stand united and fully, you can use the word sovereign if you like, in your own template and in your own energy field. You will no longer be connected to the energy field of your mom or of your dad. And you do it with both parents, and see how many energy cords that are there on the physical level as well as around your head. When you have done this, you go in and work with the genetic structure. And again, this is a matter of there you listen to your body. You literally have to work through your body, layer by layer, skin by skin, DNA by DNA, on all of your organs and all of your physical template. Literally the template that gives in and creates the physical body. Sorry. That template that creates the physical body is called the rainbow level of the template. And it's a rainbow because it's the frequency spectrum. So eventually when you're able to get to that point, you will free your DNA, the blocking between your bio-DNA and your original template, which will then be the level where your original template can begin to work into this physical body. So there's a lot of cleansing of your bio-DNA that has to be done as well. So aside from cleansing your parental energy imprints from you, as well as what is left in your aura of them, a very strong mom or a very strong dad will typically be very heavily imprinted into your aura, and you need to cleanse these things out. As I said, it's memory by memory. It's a tedious work. There are no easy solutions for this. It is taking it step by step and get rid of this life's emotional and belief systems that you have got from your parents, and that goes by memory by memory. You initiate the process by saying, I now begin freeing myself energetically from my parents, and that all that I need to know and all I need to clear out will surface, and it will be shown to me how to do this, and I will follow the instructions from within and from my template. So the goal of this is to be able to reconnect to your own template and not be linked up to the rainbow, which is what I typically earlier had called the morphogenetic field, from where the frequency controls, the frequency fence controls your emotional body as well as your mental body, the mind field, and in that, per definition, the chakras, as well as your bio-DNA to only be able to work on frequencies. So that is a piece of work you need to do, and it will take time, but you will take the time because it's an important piece of work. So that is part of the freeing process, so to speak, of the frequency control of your system. The other level to get through the frequency control is to work with your DNA, the A, the T, the C, the G's in your DNA. And you have to be able to kind of see and understand the DNA level to work there. But earlier I have worked with the idea that we had humanoid genetics in us. And I have said that these humanoid genetics arose from the real humans, the full humans, that then regressed and turned into animals. My latest discoveries has actually been that this, what I call the humanoid genetics, that is the insectoid, the avian, the reptoid, and the mammal, are in fact genetics from this planet of insects, avians, reptoids, including snake, reptile, and whatever, and mammals. These are part of our bio-DNA, and these are part of some of the hybridization programs that have been going on since at least the 50s, where the different races of the greys, because there are many different races of them, the android ones, the tall ones, the yellow ones, the blue ones, God knows how many different versions of them there are, all depending on what race from other parallel systems that are working here, who are not able to create a physical form anymore, and hence are using these android forms, or a diminished version of themselves looking like a tall gray structure. So they have been experimenting with the animal or the insectoid, avian, and so forth, genetics on our planet to see if they could create through this, because insectoid genetics are very, very easy to connect to frequencies. And in that kind of, since the human genome consists of at least 30% insectoid genetics, or I think with somewhere genetically similar to the fruit fly, 80% or something like that. And in that, I have been able to splice in stuff into our physical DNA that doesn't belong there. These animal, humanoid, insectoid genetics are creating a lot of distortions in your distortion field. Sorry. And this is where you get the weird creatures that you're seeing when you begin working with your template, that are kind of have sprung from the rainbow field, your bio-DNA, and the spliced in insectoid or avian or mammal or reptoid genetics, where you will begin to see some weird creatures when you begin working with the holographic structures of the distortion fields that are kind of beyond the astral plane or the emotional field. The emotional field holds your emotions from this life, your subconscious as well, including whatever it was in your parents when you were created. You work your way through these, and when you get through that, you get into the distortion fields, and this is where it begins to be fun, when you cleanse out your different levels of your inner world. So, but this is again step by step, and you will get there if you do your daily cleansing, working on your heart and your mind field and your aura, and cleansing these things out with the intention of cleansing out the emotional field, the subconscious level, as well as cleansing, get to the point where you get to the rainbow field, and from that begin dissolving the different types of inserted genetics that do not belong there. You will, by intention and your daily work and your skilled abilities, which will grow with this work, learn how to do this type of energy work. That's the best I can say. I'm giving you the idea of how to work with it. It is up for you to practice it, learn from it, and develop your own method in doing so. And you will probably discover something else that is better for you to work with. So what you need to know is that entrance point to the aura or emotional field is through the heart. Entrance point to your mind field is through your throat. Cleansing of your mind field goes from both the field itself, but also through the brain itself and the neurons that are storing the informations of everything you have seen and felt and thought. These are frequencies that are stored into your neurons, hence the ability to raise or enhance on your brain. Clearing it out, you have got slugs and snakes and stuff and technologies in your brain as well, which you will need to work with too. Your eyes, your nose, everything, every single piece of your body holds technology or something that can be put in, because these are just kind of entrance points into levels of your template. Your heart is the connection to the emotional field. It's also the connection to the subconscious, and from that you go into the distortion fields, which I earlier have called it the astral plane. With that goes that the thymus, which is here, will not really be able to ignite fully before you have been cleansed quite a lot amount out of your emotional stuff. So you have to work through your childhood issues. There's simply no way around it. You cannot do this work without facing who and what you are and what this life has done to you emotionally and mentally. There's no way around it. You can pretend it's not there, but that will never activate your heart field. Never is such a strong word. But that is the way that you are to cleanse out, so you get energy from the heart. It begins to work correctly again, and not being totally all this energy being absorbed into frequencies and emotional stuff and subconscious layers that are preventing you from getting the heart to work correctly. You can say all of your childhood and hurting and stuff that are stuck there in your emotional field are making the energies of your heart go in reverse. So that has to be cleansed out so it can go the right way again, and in that begin linking up to your heart field, which is positioned here, and spark to life the thymus and this entrance point, which is where you generate the true heart field, and from that work on the energies that are compatible with consciousness that eventually will come into your brain when you've cleared out the frequencies of your brain enough so that consciousness can begin to grow in, and that means the template information can begin to come in and work through your brain. So the template information that work with consciousness will eventually come through your brain, and the energies of your template, which are the correct one, will eventually come through your heart field. The physical heart is all about your emotional level, and the physical brain is all about the mind field. But these are two processing entities that are able to, when they're cleansed out, they will stop prohibiting you from working with the real type of energy and the real type of consciousness. So this is why it's important work to do this cleansing of your childhood and everything that is stored. If you pretend that everything is good and fine, and you think that you have worked your way through all of this without really working your way through it, and that means undoing the memories and going in and clearing out the memories and feeling the emotions. You don't have to dive deep into them. You just need to kind of make them surface, and then you cleanse them out and you reframe them, or you cry out, or whatever you need to do. You don't go into enormous amounts of self-pity and all these kind of things. Then that's the way to work around it. And if it's very too difficult for you, see a therapist. It's that simple. If you can't do it on your own, see a therapist. That will help you tremendously to give you tools on how to work with your childhood memories and how to go into them therapeutically, so you can give yourself what your parents weren't able to give you, so you can heal yourself by learning to observe your own emotions and how to work with them correctly. So this is a little piece of energy work that is important for you to dive into, and I know it's much more closer to the body, and I've given you the bigger up there in the higher dimension type of energy work, but eventually as you cleanse out these levels, you will get closer and closer to the body, and this is where all that you've got stored there will come in the way from the template to be able to bridge into this physical body and really give you the connection and the higher awareness that we are working to get integrated and implemented into this physical body, so we can do something with it in this world. Because it's not a matter of sitting there in your enlightened state up on some high mountaintop. It's a matter of you being in this world and using your consciousness potentials and your energies for something that will be a creation or a project or something you can do in this world that will change the world that we are having for now. So that's the goal of why we're doing this. It's a lifestyle, and it's based upon high awareness, where we learn to work with energy and we learn to implement and integrate it into this reality, so we take on the responsibility of changing it step by step by becoming a new type of humans. Okay, thank you.